Hello and welcome to another video. Today we're just going to go ahead and finish off this expression page that I started last week. So let's just go ahead and get into that. If I'm being honest, I really don't know what to talk about for this video. The expressions are just the same expression sheet that I was going off of for the last video. So I don't really feel like popping it up on the screen again, but you guys can still follow along if you remember it from the last video. If you took a screenshot, you can still go ahead and follow along. Unfortunately, I didn't get to draw all of the expressions on this expression sheet just because I ran out of space on the paper. If I'd drawn the heads a little bit smaller, I could have fit 8 rows of stuff on here, but as it was, I kind of wanted it to match the expression sheet on the other page of my other character, so I didn't make them really tiny. I did kind of mess up with the spacing of the heads anyway. You're going to see later on that there's kind of like coming up at an angle, the last row is anyway. And so I don't know if that bothers you guys, but it kind of bothers me. I feel like I could fit a couple of heads down there, instead of it just being flush with the bottom, which is unfortunate. But it's okay. We keep going. One thing that is a little bit different with this video is instead of just drawing a head and then going ahead and coloring it in, I decided that I was just going to save the coloring for all the way at the end. I'm sorry if you don't like that and you like it when I stop and color one head at a time after I finish it. I just found that it was kind of like a waste of time to do that because when I was cutting up the video, I would have to cut it every time my hand comes out. I don't have to do that. I just choose to do that because I don't really like dead space in a video. So every time I would switch over to using the marker from using the pen, there would be like a couple of seconds of dead space, and I don't really like dead space. So I was just like, well, it'd probably be faster if I just draw all the heads and then color it in. And you know what? It was faster. Okay, not only was it faster for editing, but it was also faster when I was drawing it because I didn't have to keep going back and forth. So that was good. So that's going to be a little bit of a difference in this video today. So I've been thinking about kind of what I want to do with this channel for a little bit now. I watched a YouTube video that talked about what kind of content you should make with your channel, and it's basically what they said is you should try to figure out what your two skills are and use those to incorporate like something unique for your channel. I don't know what my two skills are, but I know what I like to do, and I like to draw, and I like to come up with OCs, so I figured I would probably just go ahead and start doing like OC character designs. You guys can let me know if that's something that you would be interested in. I kind of want to just go back and look at all the OCs that I have created so far. You guys have literally only seen 5 of my sketchbooks, and there's already been like 20 OCs that I've had in them. So I kind of want to just make it like a sketchbook series where I just go back and figure out what the traits I wanted for those characters and redesign them as I would currently. I'm not entirely sure if they would be good character designs or even better than the old ones. I'm not a character designer personally, and I don't know if I'm good at visual character design, but I mostly design characters based off of the traits that I would give them if they were more in a book than if they were in a visual thing like a comic or something. But maybe that's something we could work on together. Would you guys be interested in seeing like some character design stuff? No offense, even if you aren't, I kind of want to do it anyway, just because I think it would be fun. Like I said, I create a lot of OCs. Creating OCs is one of my favorite things to do. I'm one of those people who's like, I create OCs, but I don't write the story, which is a really bad habit. So I feel like if I start drawing them on the channel more, other people might get curious about them and want to be like, hey, maybe you should tell us a bit more about the story, then I can make videos about the stories. I just feel like that would be fun. Just because, like I said, I really consider myself more of a writer than an artist. And I just feel like incorporating my writing would be fun on the channel. Maybe not my precious babies that I'm like super attached to, but my old OCs could use a revamp, and I'm not really zeroed in on their stories too much. I just have to figure out which character I want to start with. If you watched my sketchbook tour from last week, which would be sketchbook 5, I did have an angel and a demon character. Well, they were a half angel and a half demon character. One was the Antichrist and the other one was a Nephilim. I kind of want to redesign them. I did a lot of stuff for their story. Like, I have a lot of writing for it, basically. I have like a pretty much almost completed outline. I think I would have like 60% of an outline for them, which is more than half, which is pretty good. So I wouldn't exactly be strapped for ideas for how to revamp their character designs. And then there's also like several other characters in that story that I could also do character designs for. If I was going to make it a series, I think I would, split it up into different story ideas. So, I'm not sure if they would all be in one video, if they were made in separate videos. I did do real-time drawings, and so it would probably have to be just one character at a time, just because of the time it takes me to draw. For character designs, or just draw in general. So if I was going to do them, it would probably be one character, per drawing. But I kind of think I want to just do like the main characters for the story. So in the story with the Antichrist and the Nephilim guy, there's actually one other main character, and she is, how do I explain this? She is a witch, but witch in the sense that she is contracted with a demon to get her powers. So she contracts with the Antichrist character, so that way she can get some powers, because they need a witch to help them. Just because it's like so complicated to explain. Well, maybe it's not complicated. Basically, they're on the run from both heaven and hell, but neither of them can use their powers. Like I said, about the angel, I said this previously about the angel, the Nephilim guy, but he doesn't really have powers, but he does have like a strong presence. Like, angels can sense him and demons can sense him, just because he's like considered an abomination, I guess. I'm not sure if that's what it says in the Bible about Nephilim. I believe that Nephilim in the Bible are just like giants, but I don't know. I haven't read the Bible. Maybe if I'm going to write a story about angels and demons, I should read the Bible. But do you guys know how long the Bible is? It's like 80 books. I'm not reading that whole thing. Let's do some research on the internet. But anyway, so yeah, and then the Antichrist is the Antichrist. So angels and demons can sense him. And basically they're trying to bring about the apocalypse. I know it's cliche at this point, but I wrote this like 10 years ago, okay? So there was a lot less angel and demon stuff available back then, I believe. But yeah, so they can't really use their powers, and they need someone to like hide their presence. And so they're like, well, what if we use a witch? And for some reason, even though she is a witch contracted through the Antichrist, her magic is not being able to be sensed by heaven and hell, so they need her to like cloak them, and so they have to teach her how to be a witch. And yeah, so that's basically the third main character of the story. So that would be the gist of the series, is I would just take a couple of characters from the stories that I was writing in the past, and I would just redesign them. So for that story, it would just be those three, I think, just to get the main characters out of the way. If I was going to do the mini monsters, which was from all the way back in my very first sketchbook tour, I would probably just do the three main characters from that also, even though there's like, how many characters? There's like 16 of them. But I don't think I would want to waste time doing all 16. Well, maybe if I was going to do them over like a long spread of time, like, well, I wouldn't want to do one per week, because then you'd probably get sick of me just redesigning monsters one per week. I feel like there's only so much you can do really with like a mummy. I think if I was going to be working on a redesign for them, I would also have to come up with more of like a cutesy style for them, because I feel like they don't really translate into my current style, which is, more of like an anime comic book ish looking style, I feel like they would have to be smaller, more cutesy. Maybe it's just because when I was drawing them, they were more cartoony and stuff. But I feel like those characters are much more suited to like a cartoony, cutesy style. So I would have to come up with a cutesy style, for them, like a chibi style. But honestly, I am not great at chibis. I don't know what it is. I just struggle really hard with the proportions for a chibi. Something about drawing really big heads and really small bodies. It's just a struggle for me. And also, they're like, make the neck really small, and I'm like, if they make the neck small and the head really big, how are they supposed to support their heads? And also, I know it's a drawing. They don't need to support their heads, because they don't exist. But there's just something that I really struggle with chibis. So I can use that as an excuse to like study more chibi styles if I was gonna do those characters. I'm not sure though, because it's more of like a silly, jokey kind of story. Really, if I was gonna do like the mini monsters as like a pitch, I guess it would be more like for like little kids, just because it's more cutesy. And I'm not really interested in drawing stuff for little kids. I'm more interested in like what's it called? A demographic of my own age group, like 18 to like 30 or whatever. Then again, there are lots of adults that are like really into like Sanrio characters. So if I was gonna draw them, it would kind of be more like a Sanrio style thing, where they're just kind of like mascots, I think. That could be cute, but not really super into mascot design. But also, that stuff is really hard to draw, like things that are super cute and like super appealing. I don't think I would be able to replicate a style similar to Sanrio or like Hello Kitty. Like the simplicity in Hello Kitty, and yet the mass appeal that she holds is like fascinating. You know what I mean? I don't really know a lot about Sanrio. I do have a favorite character. It's Carol P, just because he's green and I think that's cool. And he's cute. But other than that, I don't really know much about Sanrio. I think they just hang out and like eat sandwiches or something and like go to school. I think they're like kids, but there's a lot of adults that find them like super appealing. So that could be fun to do, but it's also like incredibly hard. But I don't think I would mind trying to figure out how to do mascot design, and study what kind of makes those sort of character designs appealing. It's really sort of different than what I usually do, but that doesn't necessarily make it something that I shouldn't want to learn. You know what I mean? There's like lots of different aspects to art that someone could study. You could do like graphic design, you could try to study logo design, you could just try to study comics, fine art, abstract stuff, all sorts of things. And even though that might be like not what your general vibe is or what you're interested in doing, there's a lot of merit in studying those things, just because you might be able to incorporate something that you didn't even think about into your own art. I'm pretty sure that's what they do in art school. I did not go to art school. I just went to regular college. Got me some degrees, and other things, non-art related. But I believe that in art school they try to like expose you to different types of art, just so that way you can draw inspiration from anywhere. And I'm mostly only interested in like comics and like illustration and stuff, but I don't think that it would be bad to like try to study things that I'm not super interested, like mascot design. So that could be a good idea. And I really just think that there is something to that saying, jack of all trades, master of none, but still better than master of one. I know when people say that phrase, they kind of leave out that last part about better than master of one, but it's better to be good. Basically what it means is it's better to be good at a lot of things than to just be good at one thing, simply because you just have more to draw from. If you can only do one thing, you're only ever going to be able to do that one thing. If you learn lots of other stuff, you're going to have more adaptability. And I don't know if you guys are trying to get hired in the art industry. I'm not super interested in that sort of thing. But from what I hear, about it, they are kind of looking for people who can do like more stuff, like who have more of like a rounded out skill set. If you're only really good at one thing, I feel like it's going to be hard for you to be able to adapt to new things. um you know what I mean? And they kind of want people who can draw in multiple styles. And also, if you're able to like incorporate things from other art styles, it'll help you reach more people. Like, maybe you're not super into abstract art, but you could take the way that an abstract artist lays down colors and chooses their color palettes, and you can incorporate those into like maybe your landscape, or like what's it called, your like background designs, and just to make them more appealing. And you can like use like color palettes that you would never even think for using in backgrounds. It's just like trying to get like a more well-rounded skill set would be helpful. I do not have a very well-rounded skill set, and this is something I'm trying to work on a little bit more. So maybe I'll just have like how I post sketchbook tours every Friday. I'll just have like one day out of the week where I do studies of whatever I feel like studying. Maybe I'll do those on Thursdays or something. So if you come back on Thursday, hopefully there will be a video of me doing a study. I just have to figure out what I want to study. There's just so much stuff that I struggle with, which is unfortunate. And when I say studies, I mean more like artistic studies, less like anatomy studies. I do need to do anatomy studies, but when I tried to film and post that, the video was really bad. I'm not great at like gesture drawings, and so the art was really ugly. And I do think there's merit in showing off your ugly art, but also it made me feel really bad, so I didn't want to post it. And I think it's okay to not want to post everything. The algorithm on Instagram or Twitter or X or whatever, I'm not gonna call it that, it's Twitter, but and YouTube, they kind of want you to be posting all the time, no matter what. And it's easy to feel like you should be posting all the time. I know I post a video every day, so it kind of seems like I'm not taking my own advice. But I only do like 2 or 3 drawing sessions, and since I do real-time videos, I didn't just break them up, so I'm posting every day, but it's not like draining for me. And so when you post every day, it can be like super draining, and it can really sap your creativity. So you can post every day and stuff, but I feel like you shouldn't feel obligated to post everything all the time. It can be helpful to some artists, to some beginners, to see that, hey, even this artist I like, they have bad days and stuff, and their art's not always going to be good. But you shouldn't feel obligated to post that. Like, if you are like, if other people see this, it will like really make me feel upset, and I really don't like this, and it makes me feel upset. You shouldn't feel like you have to post that, just in the sake of help. I mean, it's okay to help other people, but you can't help someone else if you don't help yourself first, right? So if you feel like it's going to really be a blow to your self-esteem, you don't have to post something that you find ugly. I don't really mind posting ugly drawings, but sometimes they're just really, really bad, and it hurts my feelings, and so I don't really like having my feelings hurt, so I'm just going to keep those drawings to myself. It's okay to keep some drawings to yourself, for whatever you feel like. Not everything is for sharing. And I am speaking from personal experience. I've had a couple of times where I would post literally every single day over on Instagram. I've tried to do that I did it for 1 year consistently. I posted every day, but then I tried to do it the next year, and I was just really, really burnt out. I was forcing myself to draw something every day, and then I was posting things I wasn't entirely satisfied with, and some stuff I just thought was really bad, but I was forcing myself to post it anyway. And I just don't think that's a healthy way to do your art. I don't really think that we should go backwards in any sense. I feel like this is clearly the best time to be alive. There's like lots of terrible things that are still happening all over the world, but in comparison to living in the past, things are a lot better. But I kind of wish, in terms of like for artists, we could go back to being like, hey, this is my masterpiece. It took me 10 years to work on it, and it's just some rich dude paid me to work on it for 10 years, and he was chill with that. Nowadays, people want art literally all the time, And they don't really take into account the time that it takes. Like, think of some of your favorite art, your favorite artists. Maybe you are like me and you like anime, and you're like, wow, that art is so amazing. Um, but think of how amazing it could be if they could actually spend like time on it. You know what I mean? Like, I've talked about Jujutsu Kaisen. I don't really like Jujutsu Kaisen, but I have followed some stories about the anime and anime production and how maybe the studio could be shutting down just because animators are fed up with like the short time frames they're given to make just like art that is like beautiful and groundbreaking. Like, I've seen clips of the show and you're like, that is amazing, and then they tell you, right, that this is only like half finished because we ran out of time, and you're like, you made that with like only half the amount of time that you expected to have, and you're like, that is, it's like the most amazing thing I've ever seen. But also think about how amazing it could be if they were given the proper amount of time to get it done. But people are literally so impatient with art, and not to say that people, it's good that people enjoy art or whatever, but it's just like people are so into like instant gratification nowadays, and just to see that people were upset about how long art and animation takes, it's just like wow, you know. And I don't watch Invincible, um but I just like to keep an eye on things art related, and so animation is art, and so I saw that people were really upset that Invincible was taking like a 4 month break. I don't know if the season is done already or anything, but if it wasn't, they're like really mad. They're like, I understand breaking up a season, you thought you're gonna get the full season, they're like, we're splitting it. But the thing is, it's they're not they're the artists are not the ones who get to choose the time frame, right? It's set by like executives and people who do like scheduling and stuff. So I feel really bad because they're like, wow, these guys are like striking so they can have better stuff. But now it's like they're taking stuff away from us, and it's so strange to see like laymen, people who don't know about art, try to discuss art and how much time artists should take on things. I never want to judge anybody, and so I really just try to feel like it's not out of malice, it's just out of ignorance. Like, they don't understand how long stuff takes, and it's like really cool to be appreciated and that people really like your stuff. Like, people love Invincible and stuff, but it's one thing to appreciate someone's art and appreciate like the artist and the artistry and how long it takes to make something. And it's just like, I feel like people have lost the capacity a little bit to like give other people's grace and to give other people time to make things that are really wonderful, you know what I mean? And obviously, that 10-year thing was like an exaggeration. Back in the day, they would give it like 10 years, but obviously, people don't want to wait 10 years for stuff. And I agree, like, I don't want to wait 10 years for stuff either. But 1 or 2 years, like, I understand getting frustrated and really wanting things to happen quickly and fast or whatever. But if you want things to turn out like good and great, and like there's like something about a time crunch that can make people perform better. But honestly, performing under stress, you can only perform under stress for so long, and also the product can only be so good if you're not able to like give it the time and dedication that it requires. And so yeah, just if other people won't give you grace, you need to be able to give yourself grace. So it's okay to take breaks. It's okay that you're taking a little bit longer in the piece than you thought you were gonna take. All that stuff is alright, okay? It's alright to pace yourself. And I'm just saying these things to you guys just because these are things that I need to say to myself also. Like, I get frustrated with myself too when I think things are taking too long. And sometimes, yeah, I do need to like push myself further and harder. But sometimes it just doesn't work, and then you get burned out. And I feel like it's better to take your time than to get burned out, because if you get burned out, then you're not going to be doing anything at all. You know what I mean? You're just going to be sitting around wishing that you had an idea to work on, and just wishing that the ideas would come to you. And then if you were just taking your time, you would be able to sit there and think of ideas, and they would flow a little bit easier for you.
maybe you're the kind of person who's like, I really work well under pressure. I appreciate you. I appreciate the way that you're able to get things done. But I would also say make sure that you're taking care of yourself, because sometimes people who say they work really well under pressure, they might, and they probably do, but also they might not be taking too good of care of themselves, right? So I just think that artists should be able to take care of themselves in a way that they could get some really good art out there, and also they can stay making art for a long time. There are certain artists that they really push themselves, and then they injure themselves because they're not fulfilling a schedule that would be productive to making art in the long term. Anyway, the video is over now. I hope you guys enjoyed my rambling. See ya.